Hello, I'm Kendra. Mitch McConnell is a senior U.S. Republican politician. He recently wrote an essay for the Foreign Affairs magazine about his views on the United States of America's position in the currently changing world order. In his article, The Price of American Retreat, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell argues that the United States must strengthen its military power to counter global threats from nations like Russia, China, and Iran, which are becoming more direct and aggressive in their attacks against us, the West. It's a very well written and articulated argument in favor of greater security investment amid times of turbulence. A particular part of this article that goes into detail on the defense spending during the different wars that the US has engaged in. Quote, past levels of US defense spending put today's needs into perspective. During World War II, US defense spending reached 37% of GDP. During the Korean War, it rose to 13.8%. At the height of the Vietnam War, in 1968, it stood at 9.1%. The defense buildup under President Ronald Reagan followed a low of 4.5% of GDP. During the Carter administration, peaked at only 6%. In 2023, the United States spent 3% of GDP on defense. End quote. There is a clear emphasis on investment here, and I believe that Europe should follow suit. The good news is that we are already moving in that direction with gradual increases in national military budget and growing calls from national governments to strengthen cooperation. Our budgets have been growing for the past decade, primarily to modernize and upgrade our systems and structures, resulting on an average of 1.9% of EU members' GDP being allocated to defense. With more reports of Brussels seeking to free up funds for member states to use on security, there is a strong likelihood of continued growth in defense expenditures. However, we must act with haste. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is advocating for sacrifices to raise our budgets to an ideal 3% of GDP. President-elect Donald Trump has called for NATO members in Europe, including most of us, to increase military and defense budgets to an average of 5% of national GDPs. Neither gentleman are wrong with these suggestions, but we cannot start cutting other equally important parts of our budgets, which are useful for the maintenance and order of our societies, correct? So what can we do to increase the military budget? Well, the word sacrifice that Rutte used earlier on got me thinking. Instead of asking the public to bear budget sacrifices to fund increased defense spending, why don't the NATO Secretary General and government leaders, especially the government leaders, turn to the businesses and banks that have thrived and harvested substantial profits through crisis after crisis after crisis? While it's understood that citizens pay taxes, so should these entities, at least I hope they do. It only seems fair that they are called upon to carry their share of the burden and make the necessary sacrifices so the West is not slowly engulfed by the enemy flames. I'll leave you alone with these thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Always interesting to engage in dialogue. I'll see you when I see you. Au revoir.